In this video, I'll be showing everything you need to know on how to use interactive brokers effectively. Starting from how you can open an interactive brokers account, what are the settings you need to enable, what are some of the features interactive brokers has to offer, and finally, I will also give you a step-by-step guide on how to use interactive brokers to buy your favorite stocks and ETFs. I'll be adding chapters into the timeline so that you can easily jump to the section that you want. So without further ado, let me first start by giving you a quick introduction as to what interactive brokers is. Many of us know interactive brokers as this low-cost broker that lets you trade stocks. But did you know that interactive brokers is a broker that has been around for almost 50 years? Yes, IBKR has been around for a very long time. Fast forward to the present, they have become one of the largest brokers in terms of trading volume, serving 3.5 million clients worldwide while managing close to $600 billion in client equity. IBKR is also publicly listed on the US exchange, which means all of their financials are out in the public for everyone to see. So you can see how profitable they are, where they earn their money from, as well as how healthy their balance sheets are. IBKR lets you invest in 36 markets across the world and offers a ton of products for you to trade and invest in, such as stocks, ETFs, options, futures, spot currencies, cryptos, and many more. But then comes the question, just how safe IBKR is, and can I trust them with my money? First and foremost, IBKR is regulated by the SEC, FINRA, NYSE, FCA, as well as regulatory agencies from many other countries, such as Canada, Australia, and Singapore. So you can be sure that they are operating under strict financial regulations and oversight. However, this doesn't mean that IBKR has zero risk. So here comes the second layer of protection. Depending on which version of IBKR you are using, you will get different protection. For example, if you are from the US or Malaysia, you would likely be using IBKR LLC, or what some people like to call IBKR US. Or if you're like me who's from Singapore, you are likely using IBKR SG. If you want to know which account you are currently using, in the website, go to Performance and Reports, Other Reports, Account Confirmation Letter, and generate the letter. If it says Interactive Brokers LLC, then you are using the LLC version. And if it says IB Singapore, then you're using IBKR SG. So if you are using IBKR LLC, your accounts will first be insured by SIPC up to $500,000 US. Then Lloyd of London extends this coverage by another $30 million per account. Not just that, under the Insured Bank Deposit Program, eligible IBKR clients can also get up to $2.5 million of FDIC insurance in addition to the existing coverage. Though, note that this does not come by default and you will need to manually enroll into the program. Also, IBKR segregates a portion of clients' money in a special bank or custody accounts, as well as holding client funds across several banks to avoid concentration risk with any single institution. As you can see, IBKR LLC has a number of protections in place to protect client assets if ever things go wrong. But what about IBKR SG? One common misconception many people have about IBKR SG is that since it's not a US entity, it's not insured under SIPC. However, IBKR clarified that in the event IBKR fails, IBKR SG will make a claim to SIPC on your behalf. So there's still SIPC insurance here. Not just that, in accordance with MAS regulations, IBKR SG will also hold client assets in a segregated account, which are separated from IB's own assets. So in the event of an insolvency, the assets can be returned back to clients. Or in short, this means that our assets are quite safe with IBKR lah. Alright, let's talk about how you can easily open an IBKR account. If you don't have an IBKR account yet, shameless plug, you can use my link here to sign up. Then on the website, click on Open Accounts button on the top right hand side and click Start Application. Enter in the email, username and the password that you want to use and click Create Account. You will then need to select an account type. If you are planning to just use these accounts by yourself, you can just choose Individual. Otherwise, choose Joint Account if you are planning to share the account with another person. Also, if you go for a joint account, you will be required to choose between one of the 4 joint account types. If you are a little confused which joint account type is most applicable to you, here's a suggestion from ChatGPT. Joint tenants with rights of survivorship are best for spouses or close family members who want automatic transfer of assets upon death. However, if one of the holders who is a non-US person passes away, the US estate tax of up to 40% may apply. Community property is only available to legally married couples in US states which recognize community property laws, while tenants in common allows each owner to have a fixed percentage of the account. This is best for business partners or friends who want to control how their share is distributed upon death. Again, take note that US estate tax may apply here. And lastly, tenancy by the entirety is only for legally married couples in certain US states. It is similar to the joint tenants with rights of survivorship, but comes with the added protection from creditors. For now, I'll just go with an individual account, then select Start Application. If you are from Singapore, you'll be able to retrieve your personal information via My Info. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you can just manually fill in your info. Okay, for base currency, typically you want to choose the currency of the market that you are mostly trading in. For example, if you are planning to mainly trade US stocks, you should choose US dollar. Otherwise, if you are planning to mainly trade Singapore stocks, you should choose Singapore dollar. This is because IBKR will display your statements in the base currency that you have chosen. And if you hold a portfolio of US stocks but set a base currency to SGD, you will not only see stock price fluctuations but also forex movements, which can make tracking your returns complicated. So just choose the base currency based on what markets that you will be mainly trading in. After that, continue on with your application. At the Investor Status Declaration page, choose the status that's most relevant to you. In most cases, you'll be a retail investor. Click Continue. For account type, you can choose either a margin account or a cash account. If you are a beginner investor, I would recommend just sticking to a cash account as it will make things a lot simpler for you. Otherwise, if you know what you are doing, you can go with a margin account. For income and net worth, it's best to be honest and tell them how much you really have, because I've seen some people saying that IBKR will contact them to ask for proof. I guess it would be pretty awkward if you say you are earning over $1 million each year, but you can't prove when IBKR asks for it. As for the rest, it's pretty straightforward, so just choose whichever applies most to you. Next, if you enroll into the Stock You Enhancement program, IBKR will lend out your stocks to short sellers and hedge funds to do stuff like short selling, and in return, you get to earn some interest. From my experience, the interest that you can earn from this is typically very little, like less than $10 per year, unless you own stocks that have very high short interest. If you are okay with it, you can just enroll into this. Otherwise, just skip this part. But you don't have to worry too much about this, as you can easily change this later on. Then, just fill in the rest of the stuff. Next, you will come to this section called Treaty Benefits Qualifications. Check whether your country is in the tax treaty list. If it is in there, you can just choose your country. But for me, since Singapore is not in this list, I will just choose Not Listed. Continue on with your application, and eventually you will come to the final step where you will need to find your account and perform some verifications. So just do that. Once that is done, IBKR will typically take around 1 to 3 business days to approve your account. So just wait a bit, yeah? Alright, in terms of platforms, IBKR is available on both the mobile app and the desktop. So let's quickly go through them. First up, you have the IBKR mobile app. This app comes with almost everything an investor would need, such as stocks, options, companies, research tools, and markets overview. This is the default app that most people would use when they want to trade on the go, and this is the app that I'm currently using. Then you have the Global Trader app. This app is made for beginners and is a more stripped down version of the mobile app. But you will still find most of the essential functions here, such as stock trading and options trading. Choose this if you don't need a lot of features and just want the bare minimum. The third mobile app is called Impact. This app is also a stripped down version of the mobile app, but it's more for investors who want to focus on ESG investing and invest in values that matter most to you. Besides the mobile apps, the IBKR website client portal lets you invest and manage your portfolio. Here, you can use advanced charting tools, do stock screening, stock research, change account settings, and more. Again, this is the default web portal that many people use when they are on the desktop because it lets them easily invest with IBKR all without downloading anything. Besides that, IBKR has also recently came out with the IBKR desktop. In many ways, IBKR desktop is very similar to the website client portal, but it comes with some additional features such as allowing you to manually choose which exchange you want to buy your stocks and ETFs from, which I will talk about later. Next, IBKR Forecast Trader is a specialized website that only lets you trade forecast and event contracts. This platform is mainly for traders who want to make data-driven predictions on macroeconomic trends. And lastly, you have the Trader Workstation or TWS. This is built for serious traders who need advanced tools. It offers everything from stocks and options to professional charting tools, market scanners, and customizable dashboards. So those were all the platforms that IBKR has. If you are just doing your normal investing, I would say that both the IBKR mobile app and the client website portal are good enough for most people. Moving on, here are some of the important settings that you need to enable to improve your IBKR experience. First and foremost, dark mode. As they say, once you go black, you never go back. Dark mode is super useful, especially if you don't want to go blind while checking your portfolio in the middle of the night. To enable dark mode in the website, just click on the user button on the top right hand side, then just choose dark mode. And in the app, tap on the profile button on the top left hand side. Settings, display, then just change it to dark mode. Much better. Next, pricing plans. IBKR offers 3 pricing plans. First, you have the tiered pricing, where the commission you pay depends on how many shares you trade. The minimum commission per order is typically very low, but it does come with some additional third-party fees, such as exchange fees, clearing fees, and pass-through fees. Though, I wouldn't worry about these third-party fees as they are quite minimal. Next, at the fixed pricing, your commission is fixed no matter how many shares you trade, and there's lesser third-party fees. However, the minimum fee is a little higher as compared to tiered pricing. And lastly, you have the light pricing, which even though it's the cheapest, it is unfortunately only available for US residents only. So, between the tiered pricing and fixed pricing, which should you go for? One general rule of thumb is that if you don't actively trade and if you only trade a few shares a month, then you can go for tiered pricing. Otherwise, fixed pricing is better for those who often trade a large amount of shares each month. Here's a comparison by the poor Swiss. If you usually trade 10,000 US dollars or less every month on the US stock market, then tiered pricing is cheaper. But if you trade like 50,000 US dollars or more every month, then fixed pricing becomes cheaper. By default, IBKR chooses fixed pricing for you. So to change over to the tiered pricing on the website, search for pricing plan, then just switch over to tiered pricing. The change will usually take up to 1 business day to complete. Next, if you have not set up your base currency yet, you may want to do it here. As mentioned earlier, typically you want to choose the currency of the market that you are mostly trading in. For example, if you are planning to mainly trade US stocks, you should choose US dollar. That's because IBKR will display your statements in the base currency that you have chosen. So, to change your base currency at the web portal, search for base currency. Click on it, then just change to the base currency that you want. The change will take effect by the next business day. Next, sometimes you wish to trade the more complex stuff like options or futures, but IBKR suddenly tells you that you have no trading permission. To fix that, you will need to request additional trading permission. So, search for trading permission, click on how do I manage my trading permission, and in the box that pops up, click on manage trading permissions. Then just click on the instrument that you want to request trading permission for. For example, options, then just select the country that you want to enable trading permission for. And if all goes well, trading permission will be approved within 2 business days. Alright, the next one is super important, enabling fractional shares trading. This allows you to buy less than 1 share. For example, maybe you are interested in investing in Apple, but you are just starting out and you don't have enough money to buy 1 share. So, with fractional shares trading, you are now able to invest in as little as 0.0001 shares or a minimum of $1 US. And don't worry too much about the commission, because even though the US market has a minimum of 35 cents, if you are buying fractional shares, your minimum commission will drop to just 1 cent, which is incredibly affordable. So, to enable fractional shares trading, just search for Manage Trading Permissions, click Manage Trading Permissions, then click on Stock, scroll all the way down and look for Global Trade in Fractions. Enable it, and this change will take effect by the next business day. Next, depending on your preference and risk tolerance, you may want to switch your account type to between cash accounts and margin accounts. To do that, search for account type, click on it, then just choose the accounts type that you want. If you are wondering what's the difference between margin account and portfolio margin account, a regular margin account lets you have up to 2-to-1 leverage for stocks, whereas a portfolio margin account can give you up to 6.67-to-1 leverage. Though, in order to qualify for the portfolio margin account, you will need to have at least $110,000 in assets. Most casual traders will just stick to a standard margin account as it is simpler and you get to limit your risk. Moving on, the stock yield enhancement program lets you lend out your shares in return for some interest. Typically, the interest is very little unless you own shares that have very high short interest. In that case, the interest would be higher. But before you enable this, there are 3 risks that you need to know about. 1. When you lend your shares out, you will lose the right to vote, and the voting right goes to the borrower who has your shares now. By itself, this is pretty harmless, but the risk is that the short seller who is borrowing your share could vote in a way that is favorable for him. Though, of course, the chances of this swinging the vote in a direction is pretty low. 2. When the stocks are being lent out and if you are being paid a dividend, you may receive a payment in lieu first and later on receive the actual dividend itself. Because of that, this will now be counted as ordinary income instead of a dividend income. If you are from countries like Singapore and Malaysia, this has no effect on you since you are still being subjected to the usual 30% dividend withholding tax either way. But if you are from countries like the US, where dividend tax rates are lower as compared to income tax, you could end up paying a higher tax on dividends that are being received via payment in lieu. Third, counterparty risk. In extreme situations, if the borrower loses too much money and defaults, there's a chance that he is unable to return the shares back to you. Not just that, shares that are being loaned out are not insured under SIPC. Fortunately, the good news is that the counterparty risk is solely against IBKR. So if the borrower somehow can't return the shares back to you, it becomes IBKR's responsibility to return them to you. So if you're okay with all these risks, you can enable it by searching for stock yield, click on it, then just enable it to start lending out your shares. Next, IBKR has a dividend reinvestment program that lets you automatically reinvest your dividends. This program is only available to clients who use certain versions of IBKR, and only US stocks and Canada stocks are eligible for the program. Standard commissions will apply. So, for example, if your dividend reinvestment bought back 0.5 shares, you'll be charged a minimum commission of 1 cent since it is fractional shares. To enable dividend reinvestment, just search for dividend election. Click on it, then choose whether you want to reinvest your dividends or just receive the dividends as cash. Not just that, you are also able to individually choose your dividend settings for each of your holdings. So that's pretty neat. Last but not least, here's a nice feature that I recently discovered, and that is IBKR lets you open additional accounts that's linked back to your existing accounts. This could be useful for, let's say, you want to open a separate portfolio that have a different investing philosophy, like a new portfolio that focuses on just dividend stock, or maybe you want to open a joint account with your partner so that both of you can separately log in and manage the investment together. Or maybe you wish to separately invest for your kids so that you can pass over to them later on. So to open an additional account, search for Open Sub-Accounts. Click on How do I add an account? Then in the menu that pop up, click on Open an additional account. And from here, just click on the account type that you want and continue on with your application. So those were some of the important settings for you to know. Obviously, there are a lot more settings that you can play around with, but I'll leave it to you to find out for yourself. Alright, in this section, I'll be giving you a quick overview of the web portal and share some of its neat features along the way, so that you can be a little more familiar with it. So let's start with the dashboard first. On the right, you'll see your account's performance. You can also switch over to the Performance tab and choose a benchmark to see how your portfolio is performing in relation to the market. Further down, you will see different widgets. For example, the Market Overview widget gives you a quick overview of what's happening in the markets currently, while the top portfolio positions show you what's happening to your portfolio. Apparently, there was some big drop yesterday. There's also some AI summaries that you can check out how the stocks in your watch list are doing, some recent news from IBKR, stock-related news, as well as macroeconomic news. All of these are fully customizable. So if you scroll back up, you are able to add any widgets that you personally find useful. Then over to the left, you will see a bunch of numbers related to your portfolio. First, you have the entire value of the account, cash that is settled and is ready to invest, unrealized and realized profit and losses, how much margin you have, as well as how much dividends you have received. Again, if you wish to, you can customize what info you want to see. And below it, you can add various shortcuts to make things a little easier to access. Next, at the portfolio page, you are able to see all your positions and whether you are up or down. And yes, I'm currently down, but that's not what I want to show you. Instead, what I want to show you is that you can customize the columns here. So you can click on the 3 dots on the top right hand side, click Edit Columns. Here, you will find a whole bunch of columns that are available. Here are the columns that I find useful. First, position shows you how many stocks you own. Last shows you the latest stock price. Average price is what's your average purchase price for this stock. Daily P&L and change percentage shows you how much the stock has moved today. Unrealized P&L shows you whether you are currently in the green or red, while market value shows you what's the total value of each position. And finally, percentage of net liquidation shows you what's the allocation of each holdings in your portfolio. Next, we have the performance tab. Here, you'll be able to see a quick overview of how your portfolio is performing in relation to the benchmark, as well as some portfolio allocation breakdown. The Balances tab shows you the financial stats of your portfolio, though personally I rarely ever come into here. Then at the Portfolio News tab, you find news that are related specifically to your portfolio. I guess it's pretty useful if you just want to know what's currently affecting your portfolio and don't want to be bombarded by all the news out there. Next, over at the Research tab, you will find all kinds of tools to help you with your stock research. First, you are able to add stocks to your watch list. Then, there's also the Market Screener, which can help you find stocks that have good potential. One tool that I find super useful is the Fundamentals Explorer. Here, you'll find a ton of company info, such as the company profile, key ratios, dividend history, impact data for those who like ESG investing. Then, at the financial info about the company, you will not only be able to see historical data, but also future estimates by analysts. Analysis from Refinitiv, TipRanks, and even Morningstar, which usually requires a paid subscription, but you can get it for free here. Then, there's analyst forecast, ownership history of the company, and many more. You can also check out the events calendar to stay up to date on macroeconomic data as well as company events. Then, over at the News and Research page, you'll find all the latest news about your investments. There's even a Bloomberg TV which you can watch. And oh yeah, here's something cool that I want to show you. If you head over to Discover, Trading Central, then Technical Insights, you'll be able to see whether the stock is currently bullish or bearish over the short, medium, and long term. For example, right now, this stock has triggered a short-term bearish indicator, and over the long term, is bearish also, as the stock has recently crossed the 200-day moving average. So, feel free to play around with all these tools because they are really quite useful in helping with doing stock research. Next, let's check out the stock page. Let's try Google. Here, we can see the current stock price and how much it has moved today. But just take note, all the prices that you see here are delayed by around 10 to 20 minutes depending on which markets the stock is in. But that's not an issue because you can easily get live prices elsewhere like Google, Yahoo, and TradingView. Otherwise, if you want, you can also get a live snapshot of the current price from IBKR. Every month, IBKR will give you up to 100 free snapshot quotes. After that, each snapshot will cost 1 to 3 cents each. Next, you can play around with the stock chart. This chart is from TradingView, so it's actually quite powerful as you can add a whole bunch of indicators to help you with your technical analysis. If you click on the tiny icons beside the bid-ask price, you will see some quick info about the stock. For example, where is this stock listed in? What is the market data, margin requirements, and so on. Then over to the right, you have the options button to open up the options chain, the fundamentals button which leads us back to the stock research page that we have seen just now, and the news button which will show all the news and research reports that are related to the stock. Okay, here's something useful. IBKR allows you to add a price alert to help notify you when the price has crossed a certain threshold. Next up, we have the Portfolio and Reports tab. Starting with Portfolio Analyst. Here, you can have an overview of how your portfolio is doing. Stuff like stock performance, portfolio movers, allocation, and so on. And if we head over to the Reports tab, you'll be able to generate a report of your portfolio, whether it's in a snapshot PDF, a detailed PDF, or a detailed CSV. Or if you want, you can also generate a custom report of your portfolio. There are all kinds of settings that you can choose here. Like, do you want to include historical performance, concentration info, allocation by asset class, allocation by financial instruments, and many more. For those who like to plan for the future, IBKR has a retirement planner that you can use, as well as an allocation goals tool to help you map out your investment strategy. Then, over at the Statements tab, you can generate even more reports such as reports of your trading activity, mark-to-market summary, realized summary, and so on. You can even ask IBKR to periodically email these reports so that you can stay updated on your performance. Next, if you are from a country that requires you to file taxes on your investments, IBKR provides a suite of tax-related tools to make your life easier. Alright, if you ever run into some issues at IBKR, or if you need assistance with your account, there are 4 ways you can reach out to them. First, you can contact them via live chat. This is the fastest method as they will usually connect to you within a few minutes. It's available most of the time from Sunday night all the way till Friday night US Eastern Time. Otherwise, you can also call them by phone. This is available 24 hours a day, but it's only available in certain countries. Or third, if your problem is a little more complicated, you can also try raising a support ticket to them. So it's quite similar to an email where you write into them. The response time is typically a little slower, where it can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days, depending on the complexity of your issue and the current support load. And finally, if you just need help with a generic question, you can try their AI chatbot on the mobile app called iBot. Though personally, I feel that this is more like a search filter than a real AI chatbot. So personally, instead of trying to find the answer through the chatbot, I usually find it easier to just search for the answer on Reddit, where there's a community that can help me with all types of questions. Alright, now that we have gone through a quick overview of the platform, let's talk about how you can buy and sell your stocks. But before we do that, let's first fund the account with some money first. To do that, click on Transfer and Pay, Transfer Funds, then click on Deposit Funds. Here, you will need to choose the currency that you wish to deposit. And since I want to deposit SGD, I will just choose SGD. Then, depending on the version of the IBKR that you are using and the currency that you want to deposit, you will get different deposit methods. For example, if you are using IBKR LLC, and you wish to deposit SGD, you'll be able to deposit via a normal bank transfer or deposit from Wise. Otherwise, if you are using IBKR SG, you can perform an instant transfer via PayNow or my personal favorite, draw the funds over via eGIRO. This method is super convenient as once you have set it up, you can directly initiate the transfer from IBKR itself without having to log into your bank account. The transfer is almost instant and best of all, is generally free. For this tutorial, I will first show you how you can fund your account via eGIRO. Then after that, I will also show you how you can fund your account via Wise. So let's start with eGIRO transfer. Here, just enter in the information of your bank account and enter in your name. You will then need to log into your bank and set up your eGIRO arrangement. If you don't wish to terminate your arrangement, you can just leave your billing end date empty. Once everything is done, your eGIRO will be usable almost instantly. So let's go back to Transfer and Pay, Transfer Funds. Select Deposit Funds, choose the eGIRO that you have set up just now. Then just enter in the deposit amount. Click Confirm and your transfer should complete within a few seconds. And tada! Now you have some money to start investing. Next, let me also show you how you can fund your account via Wise. If you don't have a Wise account yet, here's my shameless plug. You can sign up via my Wise link to enjoy up to 500 global British pounds worth of fee-free transfer. Then what you want to do is open up a new currency account in Wise. So click on the plus button here, choose Open Balance, then just choose your home currency. For me, it is SGD. Then deposit some money into your Wise account by clicking on Add Money. Once that is done, switch over to IBKR. Click on Transfer and Pay, then Transfer Funds. Here, you can choose the currency that you wish to deposit in. Then scroll all the way down till you see Transfer from Wise Balance. You will then need to log in to Wise and give access to Wise so that IBKR is able to link to Wise. Here, depending on what you have in your Wise account, you are able to choose the currency of your deposits. For example, since I have both SGD and USD in my account, Wise lets me choose between the two currencies. Then enter in how much money you want to transfer over. Once you are ready, just click Continue and your fund should arrive anywhere between immediately to 1 business day. Next, if you have deposited a currency that's different from the stocks that you intend to trade, you will need to convert your currency. To do that, click on Trade, Convert Currency. Then choose the currency that you have and the currency that you want to convert to. Enter in the amount that you want to convert. Okay, here's something to take note of. IBKR currency conversion fee is $2. So if you try to convert all your money, and if you are using a cash account, IBKR will complain that you don't have enough cash in your account to do the conversion. Otherwise, if you are using a margin account, you will end up with a negative balance. So to avoid this, just set aside some money so that IBKR has enough to deduct for the currency conversion fee. Click Submit and you might see some messages. Just click through and you have successfully converted your currency. Okay, here are 2 very useful tips. So listen up. 1. Given that IBKR charges a $2 conversion fee no matter how much you convert, if you convert just a small amount, like a few $100s, it won't be that worth it. So one cool little trick that you can use is first send the money over to Wise, then convert the money in Wise instead. That's because Wise doesn't charge a minimum fee when you convert your money. So for example, if I convert 100 SGD in Wise, I will only incur a 25 cents fee instead of the $2 fee. Then once you have converted your money, you can just send the money back into IBKR at no cost. Second, IBKR pays interest on your USD cash balance that's above 10,000 US dollar. So if you have a non-USD cash balance, and if you are already planning to trade in US dollar, and if you are okay with the forex rates now, you can just convert your non-USD cash balance to USD first, so that you get to at least earn some interest while you are waiting to invest your money. Alright, we are now finally ready to start investing. To do that, first search for the stock or ETF that you want. For example, let's try Google. If you see a whole bunch of options and don't know which is the correct one easy way to find out is by looking at the exchange where the stock is trading in. For example, if you search for Google on Google, right beside the ticker, you can see that the stock is trading on the Nasdaq exchange. So if you head back to IBKR, you can just click on anyone that says Nasdaq. Click on stock. If you wish to, you can also add the stock to your watch list, so that you won't have to keep searching for it every time. After that, click on the buy button. Here, you can specify whether you want to buy in terms of the number of shares or a specific currency amount. Again, if you have fractional shares enabled, you can buy as little as 0.0001 shares or a minimum of $1. Let's try to buy $100 worth of stock. Next, there's a lot of order types that you can choose from, but the two most common order types are limit order and market order. Limit order allows you to specify what price you want to buy the stock at. If the stock reaches that price, you will get to buy the stock. If you are planning to use limit order, it's best to enable price management algo. This is an algorithm to help you get the best possible price. As for market order, you will just buy the stock at whatever is the current market price. So for example, if Google is currently at $170, market order will allow me to buy it at around $170. Okay, since I want to just buy the stock immediately, I will just go with market order. Time in force allows you to choose how long this order will be valid for. For example, if you choose good till cancel, this order will be valid until either it gets filled or you cancel it. At the opening means this order will be executed at the market's opening price. And if for some reason it can't be executed at the opening, the order will be cancelled. Finally, for day, the order will be around for today. And if it doesn't get filled by the end of the day, it will be cancelled. Then all or none just means that you want the entire order quantity to be either executed at once or don't execute at all. Again, I will just leave it as no, since I'm okay to partially get the stock. Once you are done, click preview. Then just check through your order. If everything is okay, just submit your order. Okay, before we move on, I want to share one important tip. The way IBKR fulfills your order is by using something called smart routing, where it basically looks through all the available exchanges to find the best available price for your stock. In certain cases, this could result in higher commission. One good example is if you are buying SPYL, which is an Ireland domiciled S&P 500 ETF that has the lowest expense ratio. The USD version of this ETF is traded on both the London Stock Exchange and the SIS Swiss Exchange. On IBKR, buying on the London Stock Exchange will incur a $1.70 commission, while buying on the Swiss Exchange will incur close to $4 in fees, as there's a $1.70 minimum commission and a 150 Swiss francs exchange fee. So, in order to force IBKR to buy from the London Stock Exchange, you will need to download the IBKR desktop version. Open up your stock or ETF, and right before you buy, click on the Advanced button under the Submit Buy Order. Then, scroll down till you see Destination and change it to the exchange that you want. For example, London Stock Exchange. This will enable that you are able to select the correct market every time. Now, besides buying your stocks manually, another way to buy is to use recurring investments. This is a fantastic strategy that not only helps you automatically invest regularly, but it can also help you avoid timing the market. Because oftentimes, investors will try to buy right at the bottom but end up missing the opportunity to buy the stock at an already fantastic price. And the stock has already shot back up. Not just that, one well-known benefit of using recurring investment is that it also allows you to avoid the $2 currency conversion fee. That's because in recurring investment, if IBKR sees that you don't have enough currency to buy a stock, it will auto-convert your currency for you, thereby allowing you to bypass the $2 currency conversion fee. So that's nice. So to set up recurring investment, you first need to set up a recurring funds transfer into your accounts so that you always have enough money to buy your stock. To do that, head over to transfer and pay, transfer funds, deposit funds, then choose your deposit method. Enter in the amount that you wish to deposit, then make this a recurring transaction. Give it any name that you want, then select the frequency of your transfer. Give it a start date, then click confirm to confirm your transfer. If you wish to make any changes to it, you can head over to transfer and pay, saved information, and you'll find your recurring transfers here. Once this is done, head over to trade recurring investments, then click create recurring investment. Look for the stock that you want to invest in, then enter the start date. Ideally, it should be at least 1 day after you have transferred your money in. This is to ensure that you have sufficient funds to invest. Then enter in the dollar amount. Since I'll be periodically transferring in 100 SGD every time after conversion, I should have around 70 US dollar. So I'll just enter 70 here. Choose the investment interval, and if there's no end date, just take no end date. Click continue. Check that everything is correct, then just click save investment. To make any changes to your recurring investment, you can just head back to trade recurring investments and you will see your recurring investments here. Oh yeah, just in case you're wondering, IBKR will fill your orders through volume weighted average price orders submitted on the best effort basis at market open on each scheduled purchase date. And if the market is not open on that day, it will be placed on the next trading day instead. Next, selling your stock is quite straightforward. First, look for the stock in your portfolio. Click on the 3 dots on the right, then click close. This allows you to sell away your entire stock position. Otherwise, if you wish to sell partially, you can also change the quantity. After that, just fill in the rest of the stuff, then click sell order to sell a stock. Finally, here's how to withdraw your money back to your bank account. Before you withdraw, make sure you have converted the money back to your home currency. Then click on transfer and pay, transfer funds, and withdraw funds. Select the currency that you wish to withdraw, then just enter in your bank account information. For locating your bank account, if you try to search by name, IBKR will come up with all sorts of options which may be confusing for you. So a better way is to search via the bank SWIFT code. For example, I can search for DBS SWIFT code and Google will immediately give me the correct code. Copy it, head back, then paste it in. Then just fill in the rest of the info. Once that is done, head back to the withdraw funds page again. Select the method that you have just added, then enter in the amounts that you want to withdraw. If you somehow do not have any cash to withdraw, it could be because the cash is not settled yet and you will need to wait till they are settled before you can withdraw. So anyway, that was a super in-depth tutorial on how to use interactive brokers. I hope this has been useful for you. And again, if you need to sign up to it, you can just use my link in the description below. Like, share and subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday.